and welcome to tonight's tutorial. Thank you for joining me. I'm Pam Wrigley and I am a wedding hairstylist, and tonight I'm actually going to show you a style that I created on one of my brides that I worked with this week. So this was the hairstyle that I created for Harriet on Saturday, and it's a beautiful kind of textured low, kind of semi twisted bun, and it looks beautiful, and it's actually quite quick and easy to create. Let me just pop that out of the way. So hair prep. So for tonight's style, I have already done a little bit of hair prep here. So I've added some salt spray, or you could use a texturizing spray through the hair on your practice heads. If you're working with a bride, as I was on Saturday when I created this style, if you're working with a bride, you could put some mousse in the hair at the root and some salt spray through the mid-lengths and ends, and then blow dry the hair to help get some volume in there and to dry the product, and then go through the hair section by section with your crimpers. And I find when you're working with crimpers, I use the little micro crimpers, but whichever crimpers you use, it's far better to use lots of very narrow sections of hair and work through the hair section by section. And then what you can do just to finish the prep is just to maybe, sometimes what I do, if your client has particularly dry hair, sometimes when you've put the salt spray and the mousse in and you've crimped the hair, it might be a little bit flyaway. So what you can do is just get your sections of hair and smooth them with a little bit of curl cream and just pin curl each section. And you might find by pin curling the hair that it kind of, especially if your client has a lot of hair, it kind of helps you to organize the hair a little bit and so you can work with the sections of hair as you come to create the style. So if you are just learning how to create bridal hairstyles, sometimes I think if you're faced with a full head of hair that's really big and got lots of volume, it's hard to know where to begin. So if you section the hair and pin curl the hair, then you'll find, so you have your front sections, your side sections, the crown and the back. And then I think you'll find when the hair is organized, you'll find it easy to create your styles. So let me just show you again, just in case you've just joined us. This is the style we are going to be creating tonight. If you have any questions as I go through the tutorial, please just type your questions into the chat box and I will do my best to keep my eye on the chat box and answer your questions. Hi, Carter. Hi, Sharika. Okay, what kind of bag on mirror? So I work with a mirror regularly when I'm creating my hairstyles. I have a mirror that I take with me, and this is just a mirror I bought on Amazon. I think it's a Danielle mirror. And when we finish the tutorial tonight, I'll put a link to the mirror onto the page so you can have a look. But it's kind of big enough so that your clients can see themselves and I can see what I'm doing, but small enough to be able to carry it in a little hold on. So let's get started. So we've prepped the hair. She's had a little bit of mousse and some salt spray, and she's been crimped. And then I just took the section here on the crown and I've just secured it quite low down. So it's quite low down, kind of just above the nape of the neck and below, kind of just below the occipital bone. And I've secured that. It's really secure, so quite firmly with a couple of bobby pins. And then all we need to do, you can decide on which little bits of hair you want to have down. Now, my lady that I worked with at the weekend, she wanted to cover her ears. So with this particular style, I took the side sections. We're going to leave a few little bits down here, maybe a bit less than that. That might be better. And I'm not going to lift it up high, but she wanted it quite low. And I'm just going to put a little twist in the hair and bring that back and secure here. So you're working a section at a time and secure the hair. Make sure it is using a bobby pin. Make sure that that section of hair is nice and secure. That's it. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So you're going to just get your hair, leave your little bits down, decide which bits she wants to have down and which bits she wants to have back. It's usually easier when you're working with a client. If you're working with a practice head, unless you've kind of cut little layers into the front, you might find it a bit difficult to decide which bits of hair you actually want down and which bits you want back. But if you're working with a client, when you do the trial, you could always suggest, if she wants one of these styles, suggest that she has a few layers cut in her hair at the front, if she doesn't already, so that when she has these little soft bits down, they are the right length. Because I think you'll find, especially if your client has particularly fine hair or hair that doesn't want to hold a curl, if you're kind of got a summer wedding and it's particularly hot, then it's highly likely that those little bits at the side might drop too much if they're too long. So you've got a much better chance of that curl holding if there isn't too much weight on the hair. And also I think they look a little bit prettier when they're kind of just soft and they kind of frame, just come below the kind of jaw. Okay, so we've got our sections here. We've got our crown section coming back, our two sections coming round to the back. And it's actually, it's actually quite a quick style, this one. So next, we're going to use a little bit of padding. So I am working with a mirror just off camera. So I do suggest, I need to use one when I'm filming, but it's really handy when I'm working, because then I can get feedback from my clients as I work. So I've got a little bit of padding. It doesn't need to be too big, especially if your client has got quite fine hair, and you're going to just pop that here, covering those bobby pins that you've got there. And then, I'm going to move that picture. We're going to use those bobby pins as our anchor. So now I'm going to use my strong, straight hair pins. I'm not quite sure. Let me just show you the pins that I'm using now. So we've got our strong, straight hair pins. So if you're not sure, if you can't, it's not easy to show these things close up when we do our live tutorials. But we do have our online bridal hair course where you can get all this information close up and in detail. So we're going to secure the padding to the back of the hair, and we're going to use those bobby pins that we position there to hold the hair in place. We're going to use those bobby pins as an anchor to help hold the padding in place. So you're going to go in, do your up and over, and go behind the bobby pin with your hairpin. And at this stage, and again underneath, so we want this to be really secure. So this is going to be kind of our anchor for the style. So we need to make sure this padding is nice and secure. So as you create this kind of foundation for the style, just check with your bride to make sure none of those pins are sticking in, because that's going to be staying in position now for the rest of the day if this is her wedding day. So then we're just going to separate the hair. We just check our questions. Carter's just asked me if you can join our online training course on a monthly basis. Well, you can. So we have two membership options. You can either join the online bridal hair training and on a monthly basis. And there's no contract, so you can just join for 1 month. If you find, you just want to learn a couple of styles, you might find that a month is enough. But we've got about 170 hairstyles, tutorials on there. So you might find a month isn't quite enough, in which case you can just continue your membership and finish whenever you're ready. Alternatively, if you want to sit the course, get your certificate and sit the exams and get your certificate, your Habia endorsed certificate, then you can join on our lifetime membership. And we have a special offer on that just until the end of June. So once lockdown all finishes here in the UK, that it's 50% off at the moment. So as I say, to the end of June. So you can join using that membership if you want to sit your exams and get your certificate. If not, the monthly membership option is ideal. So what I'm going to do now is split this hair into two, and I have to try and do this back to front, so it might not work first time. But basically what I'm going to do is just twist this section. That's it. Twist the hair and loosen it just a little bit. That's it. And I'm going to use a couple of my hairpins as props. Now I'm hoping I'm doing this right, because I am actually most definitely back to front here. So I'm going to just use the hairpins just to prop that in place. Hope I've got this the right way around. I think I have, actually. Going to get a little bit of cream on here, but have a play around. Now this one, I'm then going to continue that twist, but bring it across the top like that. And you can loosen that. So it's kind of like, I'll do the other one a little bit slower so you can see a bit better. So once you create your little twists, you're twisting the top here, you can kind of just come back, loosen just a little bit, make sure you're happy with the shape of everything. Keep twisting in the right direction. That's it. And then I think, actually, now I'm kind of happy. I might bring her a little bit closer so you can see. That's it. And then I'm going to put a bobby pin across here. See if I can do this in the mirror. So that's it. So now you can see what I'm doing, hopefully. That's it. So we've got a bobby pin across there, and we've got the beginning of our little twist. That's half our bun. That's the twist. You can just play around with that. You can make this a bit looser if you want it to be, but let's now do our other half, and I might just twist that, take that to the end, get rid of that little end of hair there, pop that in there. And of course we have our padding here, which works as a perfect kind of anchor for all these little bits of hair. Now, let's see if I can do this one back to front. So I'm going to do it a little bit slower, and you can leave these bits down, you can put them up. It's really whatever, your client wants. Let's just make sure this is, I might bring that bit up. Make sure this is smooth. So now let me see if I can do this. So I'm going to twist the hair to make sure, let me try it this way. Twist so we get our little bun here. So you can do it in either direction. In fact, I think it might need to go the other way. So that was that way. So I'm actually going to twist it this way. Let's see. That should be better. Pull that out. That's got it. So I've just twisted the section, I'm twisting it away here, and I'm going to lift this up and pin this up to the top here so that these two sections join. And you're just going to prop it first of all. So you don't need to, just use one of your strong hairpins just to prop it in position. That's it. I think that's going to be right. Lovely. And then let's see if we can keep twisting that That's it. And create, put a little bit of cream on, because this practice had the hair on the ends of this little bit of hair could do with a little bit of TLC. Sorry, I'm not able to check the questions right now because I don't want to let go of this, but please, if you have any questions, just pop them into the chat box and I will be checking in a minute. But let's just loosen this now. Have a little play. And let's just continue. Let's just make this continue. Let me see if I can do this. I might need to turn it around a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Hold on. Hold on. I might turn it this way. That's better. Whatever you do, when you create this style, don't try and do it back to front because it's really not easy. So back to front and in a mirror. Okay. So that's it. That's better. So now, let me just play with this little bit. That's it. Get this in position. You can just use your little props. Oops. Just use your, dropping my pins, just use your little, the hair pins as a prop, just to support the hair, just until you get it into position. That's better. And then you can keep going, twist and tweak. That's it. And just create this lovely twist for the top of the hair. I think she's probably got a little bit too much hair down there, but we do need to kind of get rid of the end of that little twirl. So let's use a little fine pin. And let me just check the questions again. Okay, so what's the benefit of using the crimpers? Yes, so what the crimpers do actually, if you're working, they're really better if you're working with very fine hair because they kind of double the volume of the hair. So first of all, you get more volume with the hair, but also you get this kind of slightly rougher texture to the hair. So it just helps you when you come to create these very kind of piecey styles. So it just changes the texture of the hair. So you can create these lovely kind of sectiony, piecey looking, loose looking styles. So you'll find that the texture, the crimpers really help the styles to hold because it gives the hair a kind of roughness and a texture that you don't get when the hair is kind of silky, soft and smooth. But having said that, if you're working with somebody, so the other day I was working with a bride and she was just having beautiful, soft, beachy waves. But she had, before I got there, I didn't know she'd blow dried her hair straight. So she dyed her hair so it was blonde. It was beautiful color. And it was quite coarse already. So I put some mousse and some salt spray in there and started to blow dry it. And I was going to texturize it. But as I was blow drying the hair, it just got bigger and bigger. And this natural curl and kind of frizziness almost started to come back to the hair. And it really was not what we wanted. What we actually wanted was to have a smooth style, but with texture. But because she'd got this natural curl in her hair, we didn't need to put the mousse and the salt spray. We certainly didn't need to crimp. So crimping is great if you're working with thick, straight hair. And it's great if you're working with fine, thin hair. But if you're working with hair that's already coarse or has a little bit of a curl already and it's quite thick, you probably won't need to texturize, you probably won't need to crimp. You could still use a bit of mousse and salt spray if you wanted a textured style. But if you're going for a kind of soft beachy wave, then you might, and she wants a bit of glossiness. I'm not quite sure if you saw our tutorial last week where we created lovely beachy waves using our curl cream just before we created the wave, then that would be the best way. If somebody's already got quite coarse hair that has a tendency to frizz, I would omit the texturizing stage and just create your styles and your curls or beachy waves using your curl cream. So I hope that helped. Now, once we've got this style, it's kind of what I wanted. It's not quite as perfect as the style I did for my bride, because you can see here it's got a much chunkier twist across the back, and I literally did it in the same way. I created 2 sections here once I'd got the padding, lifted them up and twisted them, but I was standing kind of in the right position and I could actually see what I was doing. So now I'm just going to pop. Actually, you can either pop the bobby pins, the hairpins into the hair, or if they're not needed, if they're not holding anything in, that's better. You can take them out. And maybe we will pop in a few little sparkly accessories, like as my bride had in the other day. But hair prep really makes your life much easier. If you get the hair prep right, then creating the style becomes much, much easier. So for very fine hair, would I recommend using mousse and sea salt and crimping? Yes, I would. Yep, because it just gives this lovely volume and root lift, and it kind of makes it look like you've got so much more hair. So I definitely would. And what I did the other day, actually, on one of my brides, she had very, very fine hair. She was thinking of having extensions, but ideally she didn't want to. So what we did, I used the mousse and the salt spray and crimped the hair all over, mainly at the root to get that root lift and volume. And then using quite big sections, maybe slightly less than a roller size section of hair, smoothed it with a little bit of curl cream, curled the hair, and then separated each curl and created this lovely voluminous kind of beachy looking wave. So and that worked really well on fine hair. So the crimping gives extra volume, and then work piece by piece, section by section, creating the curl. So that's tonight's style. We've got a little low kind of twisted almost bun, similar to this one I created a few days ago. And I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. If I've missed any questions, I'm sorry, but I will get back to you. I'll check all the questions later. I'll reply to each one. I will reply to everybody individually. But thank you for joining me. Any questions? Just send me an email, or you can get in touch with me via YouTube, or our online students, of course, can get in touch with me using our online forum. But thank you again for joining me, and have a great week. And I hope you're keeping really busy with all your bridal hairstyles, and I will see you soon. Thanks again. Bye.